At the end of the Great Depression, during the Roosevelt administration, the banks were extremely wary of lending any money. The unemployment rate was so high, and the inflation rates were so high. In order to encourage the banks to begin lending once again, the federal government comes up with this tool that we now call redlining. And it was a series of maps. And the maps were intended to indicate to the banks where high and low risk were in order to lend credit in the form of a mortgage. So risk at that point, in the 1930s, through the 1940s, through the 1950s, in American society was based on race. In those least risky neighborhoods, on maps they were coded green, and mortgages were available to those places at very low interest rates. In the most risky neighborhoods, which were non-white neighborhoods, they were coded red on maps, which is where the term redlining comes from. And in those neighborhoods, conventional mortgages were not available. So families, who in that case are non-white, were really forced into non-conventional credit markets in order to just survive.
In the United States, the vast majority of families that have built generational wealth have done it through real estate. When you don't have those opportunities, we just see this vast differentiation between those who were able to invest in real estate and those who are not. I think most people know about redlining as it was negatively impacting African Americans. But in fact, it did negatively impact other groups too. And so in San Antonio, we see that more clearly because San Antonio has such a large Mexican American population.
Although redlining defunded and divested in certain communities, really based on segregation, there was also another plan implemented too as well. There's racial covenants that in specific deeds, communities of color just couldn't live in there. It was illegal. Because of that, we start seeing the development of the suburban community, inner city communities, where mainly communities of color live. It kind of breeds a system to where civil rights activists are saying like, hey, we're looking in some places that we see specific inequality in. Education is one of them.
I would say education is one of the best ways to try to break through this economic segregation. When you think about where Texas A&M-San Antonio is located on what had been Tejano Ranch lands, just to see that trajectory, it's really exciting. Could our ancestors have ever known we would have a university like that here?